We're here with Stark County Commissioner and Canton Mayor-elect Thomas M. Bernabei. Just checking in with Mayor-elect Bernabei on what the week's been like since last Tuesday late at night. You learned that you were victorious in your drive as an independent to become the mayor of Canton. And so what has it been like since?
Well, I remain very excited, very grateful, and ready to go to work on all issues in being mayor.
Now, I'm told by Travis Seacrest of the Stark County Board of Elections that certification is anticipated to take place at 11 a.m. on the 24th of November. Can we expect shortly thereafter that Tom Bernabei will be relinquishing his commissionership to focus on becoming mayor of Canton?
I have, you're telling me that date is the first time that I've heard that date, so I've not inquired personally about that particular date. And I have made no decisions, or really have not even contemplated as to when I will or will not leave this office in order to, become mayor.
Okay.
Of course, I know that I will not become mayor until January 1, 2016.
So it could be that you'll wait right up till the end
Possibly.
as commissioner?
Again, I've given that no thought.
Okay. Working on forming a cabinet as mayor of Canton?
Working on issues associated with the transition, working on putting together a group of people to advise me with regard to transition and to assist me in looking at various issues, to include personnel issues. I have also, and again, I think it's important that everyone knows, I received a very gracious telephone call from Mayor Healy Wednesday morning following the election, early Wednesday morning. He said that he had tried to reach me Tuesday evening and was unable to do so. But again, he was very gracious, congratulatory, and indicated a willingness and openness to work with me through the transition period. To that end, we met approximately probably 2.5 hours on Monday morning of this week, and spent that time in his office going through certain transition issues. And we anticipate that we will meet, additionally.
Now, since the election, there's been some focus in area media on what your relationship might be with the council persons for the city of Canton. You've read those reports. What's your take on what you're hearing as being placed in the media?
I remain optimistic that we will have a excellent working relationship. I think that my goals are in the best interest of the city of Canton. I think that their goals are in the best interest of the city of Canton, and therefore I think that in the end our goals will merge and will be very similar to each other, and that therefore I think that we will have a very good working relationship.
Have you been able to focus at all as what your top priority is going to be in the, when we talk about the presidency of the country? I think the media talks about the first 100 days. So let's just take first 100 days. What is do you see as the top priority for Tom Bernabei administration to get up and running on?
Well, I haven't looked at it from that perspective. Two immediate goals in transition, of course, is to appoint and create the management team, the cabinet team, and so forth, and put everyone in place. I think it's very important that we hit the ground running and don't take 100 days to do so, but hit the ground running on day one. And I think that we will be prepared to do so. The second major issue, and it was one that we discussed throughout the election, and that is the issue of finances. It is not a glamorous issue, but without appropriate finances in place and a budget in place, we cannot achieve any of the other goals that we have to achieve. And I am concerned that there still will be a shortfall in the 2016 budget, and therefore that entire process has to be worked out so that we can see exactly where we are by way of funding in order to determine obviously levels of operations in all the areas of safety, neighborhoods, economic development, and so forth.
Now, during the campaign, the figure I think I remember you speculating on. I don't think it was a certain figure, but somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 million. Is that still a number that you think is a likely number?
I think that number still is in the ballpark. I think $3 million, plus or minus a little bit, probably is the shortfall. When I say shortfall, I'm talking about comparing the 2015 expenditure levels, at least as budgeted, again, because you never ever know the final budget, you never know the final expenditure levels until you reach December 31, but the budgeted expenditure levels versus what are anticipated to be the revenues for 2016. So that's the shortfall that we were talking about. And we hope that there will be different ways of covering that gap, but into the future it becomes all critical.
So the only way, of course, to cut that deficit is perhaps some cuts in city operations.
Cuts in city operations and/or attrition, without laying people off and/or without terminating or eliminating positions, through attrition, through just greater economies, hopefully in certain operations, and hopefully re-examining the availability of possible grants and other monies that may be available in some funds and so forth. But it will be a challenge for the administration. It will be a challenge for City Council.
Were you surprised at all to see the parks levy go down?
I was so immediately involved, and anyone that's been involved in an election, so immediately involved in my election, of course, I was aware of the issue. I believe that I received one mailer on it. I know that there were editorial endorsements in favor of it. Those levies have been successful in the past, and to the extent that this one was not, I was surprised.
But I understand there's an
follow.
opportunity to recover that yet before there's a problem in having the funds to operate the parks. Am I correct on that?
That is correct. I think that both there is presently, on the books, which will still be collected through December 31 of 2016, both a parks levy and a recreation levy. I believe that they both expire December 31, 2016. The opportunity still exists for each one of them separately to be put on the ballot in the March 2016 primary, each one individually. There's also an opportunity, I believe, for November of 2016, as well as the individual ones if necessary. But there would be also the possibility of putting the joined Parks and Recreation levy similar to what was put on in November this year. The levy that was just defeated can only be put on, though, in November elections, although the individual parks levy and the individual recreation levy, I believe, can be put on in the primaries as well. So there is still the opportunity to get those back into place.
Turning to the Canton charter issue that went down, you have any thoughts one way or the other on that, whether it's a non-factor or it's something that ought to be looked at again and maybe repackaged and presented to the voters for new consideration?
I think that's probably an issue that needs to sit for at least a period of time. I don't know that I would encourage it to be put back onto the ballot again immediately. Probably more education is necessary and associated with it. I think one of the very best things that came out of this, and I told several people this last night, was the great list of commission candidates that we had come out. We had 55 or 56 city residents who were truly interested in city government and changing city government and participating in city government. Many of them were excellent candidates. I certainly personally had a difficult time in making a choice to limit it to 15 people to vote for. And I said it also provides me a great list for the names of people who are interested in participating in government to appoint to the many boards and commissions that have to be appointed in the city of Canton. So it's a side issue that comes out of it, but a very beneficial issue.
Looking forward, Canton certainly has some daunting issues before it. You anxious to roll the sleeves up and get to work and so show Cantonians some results from the leadership of Thomas M. Bernabei?
Absolutely. We have problems and we have opportunities, and I think that both exist and both require leadership to work on. And I hope that I can bring that leadership to focus on both the problem side and on the opportunity side. It's a very, very exciting time.
And just one final question in terms of carryover from the current administration. I think I've seen you've been quoted in the media as saying that you're open for people presently situated in the Healy administration to make application to serve in the Bernabei administration.
Yes, and I had promised there would be diversity in my administration, and there will be. And I know fairly well the many of the department heads and the cabinet members serving in Mayor Healy's administration. I think that many of them are very excellent professional leaders, and I will look very, very closely at everyone.
Okay. Well, thank you, Thomas M. Bernabei, Mayor-elect, City of Canton, Ohio.
Thank you.